Okay. Record?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So hello, the Biz Circle members. We are streaming live today, Facebook, and I'm so excited to be able to have this platform in order so I have more people so I can just give you a little introduction of what the Biz Circle's purpose stands for. And the purpose of the Biz Circle is to provide a business resource to business owners and entrepreneurs and give them the ability to have access to subject matter experts to ask questions. And I think this topic, I know this topic, and I know that this platform is relevant to today's climate because a lot of business owners are struggling to find the information. They got to pay lots of money to get this information here, that information over there. So I figured why not have like this hodgepodge of information where all the business owners who seek to edify themselves and build their business capital by building their human capital, that we will provide the resources for them. So you get in what you put out. And with that, I just want to say welcome. Today we have Wendy Lewis. She is from Trinidad. She's in Trinidad right now. So welcome, Wendy. And I thank you
so much for having me.
Yes, thank you. I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are.
Sure. So I am Wendy H Lewis, and I am from the beautiful Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. And I wear a few hats. So let me see how I can summarize what I do. I'm a corporate trainer. I own and run the Trinidad and Tobago Corporate Training Academy. I also manage an NGO called Caribbean Women Honors and Empowerment, where we look after the needs, the social needs of women, from gender-based violence to a list of other things. I'm also a network marketing leader with Success Factory. I am a motivational speaker, mentor, and author. That's me in summary. I have some media experience. I have a radio program and a television program. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Well, that's a nutshell. That's a lot. And you seem like a busy woman, but what struck me in our initial conversation are all the hats that you do carry and your institution that you facilitate. I think that's awesome. But you also brought to my attention a concept that I had not considered. I haven't even heard of it, but once you brought it to my attention, I did a little bit of research. I'm not as versed, so I'm gonna start our conversation asking you, what exactly is the cash flow quadrant?
Interesting question. So I myself was not aware of the cash flow quadrant because, growing up in the Caribbean, my parents told me, get a good education, make sure you get a good education so that you can get a government job. So that's all I knew. And that's what I was doing, thinking that, I get a really good job and then I work until retirement and probably retire somewhere if you can. And that's how life was supposed to be until I was introduced to the cash flow quadrant. And what struck me with the cash flow quadrant was the fact that I did not realize that I was being placed in a box. And when I looked at the quadrant and I was blown away. I said, okay, so I'm employed and I'm excited about my employment because I had an amazing job at a very corporate institution in Trinidad and I was working away. As a matter of fact, I had 2 jobs. I was a senior advisor and a lecturer and I was employed and happy until I realized, but hang on a minute, somebody put me in a box. And by putting me in this box, I recognized that there is more that I can achieve. There is more that I can accomplish. And my purpose inside of me would not allow me to reach my destination by sitting in this box. I think that's the best way to put it. So I was employed and working away, and then I realized, but there's something on the right side that I've been deprived of. So I know I was sharing this with someone in New York, and they said to me, okay, I can relate to this because the 5% is the Jews. So for us in Trinidad, yeah, the 5% is the Syrian community and a percentage of the East Indian community to some extent. And I realized that I was placed in a box. So I decided I'm going to do some investigation concerning this box. and see what I can do to shift my position. Because my dreams, my vision, my goals, everything that I had for my life, there's no way I could have achieved it if I was employed only. Because when you're employed, Sheryl, you have a job, but you're
Right.
working for the system. The
True
system
enough.
tells you, come to work for 8, finish at 4, you have 1 hour lunch. If you have a death in your family, you only have 3 days bereavement leave. They even tell you how long you can be sick. After your 14 days, it's coming out of your wages. So I realized that I needed to shift. So back in 2014, I would have opened the Trinidad and Tobago School of Protocol. So I realized I owned a job, but I am the system. I still needed to put in the time to make that money. So I looked on the right, and it really was a gray area. And I'm like, I need to become a business owner and an investor because I have some people that I want to help. I have some dreams that I need to fulfill. I have some goals, and I just want to be a better version of me. So then I decided in 2017, I resigned from my position. To the shock of a lot of people, I resigned. And then I decided I am going to transform the Trinidad and Tobago School of Protocol to the Trinidad and Tobago Corporate Training Academy. So I became a business owner. So I now have people working for me and I own the system. But then a part of me was missing because I needed a good, solid investment. And when I look at my credit card statement, my bank account, there are so many charges. They charge you to save your money. They charge you to withdraw it. They charge you to use your links. They charge you for every living thing. So I started doing some research and I was looking into digital currency and stuff. And then I came across an amazing business opportunity where I could invest wisely. And I've been a part of that investment for a year and a month, and I've yielded 300% interest. So I realized that I've managed to put myself in a position where I'm still a business owner, but I also have money working for me, where I actually own the investment. So that pretty much is what made me switch when I saw the cash flow quadrant, and I realized that there is more on the inside of each and every one of us. Everyone who's on the Zoom, everyone who's on the Facebook Live, there is more on the inside of you, and you cannot fulfill your dreams and establish your goals or take your life much further with one stream of income. I had the distinguished pleasure to meet Sir Richard Branson some years ago when I was living.
Nice.
Yeah, when I was living in London. I sing as well, I forgot that bit. And I entered a competition and I won, Virgin Atlantic sponsored competition, and we were in the VIP area having the victory party, and Richard Branson was there. And I said to his security, is it possible that I can speak to him? And the guy said, you're the lady who won, innit? And I said, yep, actually. And Mr. Branson came across and he said, everybody wants a picture, you want a word. And I said, yes, and my word is going to be very brief, sir. I said, I just have one question. What is the secret to your success? And he said, multiple streams of income. And I never forgot that. And he started sharing, he had Virgin Atlantic at the time. He said, give me a year, you'll see Virgin Mobile. And then he bought out T-Mobile. And then he said, the following year, I'm going to do a chain of hotels. Everything that he said happened, clockwork. So I recognize that the cash flow quadrant is a tool to financial freedom. As long as you recognize, now nothing is wrong with being employed. Let me just say that, but it's a journey.
Right.
Not be your final destination. It's part of the process. So
it's
pretty much, yeah.
So yeah, and that's interesting to see that quadrant, because I think, and I'm not sure if you stressed, it's better to be on the right side of the quadrant than the left.
Correct.
So being an employee, I think we're all set up to believe that, okay, you grow up, you get an education, you get a job. But not realizing, I just listened to a motivational taping a few weeks ago that said, when you have a job, they limit how far you're going to go in life.
Right.
And if you think that you've arrived, and I'm not squashing education because I have my education too, but I also too realize that multiple streams of income, I want to be on the right-hand side.
Right.
So I am on the right-hand side because I have multiple businesses and investments now. And I'm still employed. So I'm still employed. So So I have security with the job, and I have the freedom and security being a business owner and an investor. So I love that quadrant, and it's something that I'm going to blow up and put on my wall so I remember which side that I want to remain in at all time. And I think this is really essential. So I'm moving on to my next question. Can any business use this formula? Like say, can you use it for a business purposes, saying, okay, if I'm a business owner, then I'm on the right side of the quadrant, I have my investments. How do you move from one side to the other? Can you give us a strategy?
The first thing you need is the right mindset. You have to believe in yourself, because a lot of people are intimidated by the right side. A lot of people don't think that they're capable of even shifting to the right side, because, as I said, some people in New York believe that the Jews belong on the right side. Some people in Trinidad believe that the Syrian community belongs on the right side. But the quadrant is for everyone. So the first thing you have to do is to believe in yourself. So once you have your goals established, your vision, your dreams, everything, you can achieve it. But you first have to believe in yourself and have the faith that when you make that leap of faith, you're not going to fall. And even if you slip, you are not going to be permanently disabled. You are going to bounce right back up. Because when I took the leap of faith, my mom was like, you leave your good job, about school of protocol, your good job with your 2 salaries, you sure you know what you're doing? And of course, I was brought up well, so you can't argue with mama. So I said, right, just trust the process. Just trust, right. Just trust me. Now, 3 weeks later, I did my rebranding and stuff, and there was no corporate training academy. And I'm like, if we get to the end of this month and she has to tell me I told you so, I'm going to die. It was 3 weeks and I'm doing all my marketing, all my branding. And I'm like, God, I took this leap of faith because I trusted you. You will not bring me to an open shame. And the second day, I got an amazing contract in Tobago.
That is awesome.
And I started doing my training, and then I just started blossoming from there. So you have to take a leap of faith. And one of the other strategies I will tell you is you need to remove the naysayers from your life. Yeah. You need to remove, now I operate using kingdom principles. And Amen. If you know the story in the Bible where Jesus went to raise the girl from the dead, what did he do? He put people out the room.
Yeah, right.
Jesus put people out the room, the doubters, the naysayers. I don't think he could do it. You think he could do it? He made the blind see. But I don't think he gonna raise no dead. Out the room. So people who would tell you, Amy or Cheryl, don't do it. No. Because they want, people resist change.
Resist change, and they're limited to what they can only see. Correct. And they tell you based on their own limitations.
That's right, and their own experiences. And people instill their fear on you. So because they are fearful, and it's not a leap of faith that they will take, they're telling you, don't do it. Don't do it. But remember, the person, the little hummingbird that's telling you don't do it doesn't know that you're an eagle.
Right.
That's why you have to believe in yourself. So if you know I'm an eagle, I am going to fly, I am going to achieve, I'm going to stay above, you do you.
Right.
Sometimes another strategy is, and this is a good one for the sisters, stop talking so much.
Right.
I mean, I talk for a living, all my school report said, Wendy, yeah, but no. Sometimes we tell the wrong person our dreams. And we have people called dream killers.
Yes.
And they want the best for you as long as you're not better than them. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, and I see Amy shaking her head. It's the truth. I mean, Bishop T.D. Jakes said it nicely when he talks about 3 different types of friends. So you have to know. You can go Google Bishop T.D. Jakes, 3 different types of friends. And you have to know who you have in your circle.
Right.
There's your circle, and there's your network. Be able to differentiate, because your inner circle are the core people in your life who are with you no matter what. That jump looking crazy, but I got you.
Right.
See, I'm not too sure if you could swim, but let me see if I could call some lifeguards to prop you on the left and the right in case. Those
Right.
are the people who are inner circle people. You have to know what type of conversation to have with inner circle people. You have to know what to share with inner circle people. Your network, on the other hand, if you have a leak, then call the plumber. But you ain't supposed to be telling the plumber all your vision and goal and dreams.
Right.
You have to know how to brand the people in your life and manage the relationships nicely. You're not forming enemies. You're not cutting off people. You just know you're the plumber. So when I need a leak is when I'm going to communicate with you. There ain't no leak right now, so I'm going to stay focused.
That's right. That's right.
Crack it up.
I know.
But pretty much, those are, and my thing is, those are the secondary strategies. The main strategy is put God first.
Yes.
Put him first. You are nothing without him. And I'm not religious, so whoever your God is, put God first.
You have to believe. You have to believe in something greater than yourself, right? Because I firmly believe that as well. So you just gave us so many nuggets of, I think we can wrap the meeting up right there. But let's move back to the cash flow quadrant. Why is it called the cash flow quadrant? Like, explain the cash flow and what are some signs, early signs that there's a cash flow issue. I read that 82% of small businesses have no cash flow. 82%. So when situations occur like COVID and the pandemic and other things that they haven't, taken into account, most business lose it. And 82% is a very huge percent. So what are some signs that you can look for? What are some early signs of cash flow problems?
So let me just define. So the cash flow is a constant flow of cash from variable sources.
Okay.
That's what the cash flow is. Variable sources like multiple streams of income.
Okay.
Variable resources. And some of the signs you can look for is an empty bank balance.
Right. I guess that's just clear. You're right.
Unable to fulfill your dreams. You go into the supermarket and you buying what you want, as opposed to you buying what you can't even afford to buy what you want. You have to stick to what you need.
Right. Okay.
You could only afford to buy stuff for 3 courses and you can't afford dessert because to you that's a luxury item and it's not part of your budget.
Right.
We were bought with a price, and we are supposed to be able to have everything that we want. It is his desire that we prosper and be in good health.
Yes.
It is his desire that we prosper. We should not be limited by circumstances, nor a system.
Right. So on the cash flow, is cash flow different than net income?
Yes, your net income is what you earn after the system has taxed you.
After the system has taxed you.
Yeah.
So the employees, and who's on the bottom again?
Self-employed.
Self-employed, they pay the most taxes.
Correct.
And the business owners and investors pay the least.
Because as a business owner and as an investor, you get to write off so much of those taxes.
Right.
It's like sometimes people may say the rich get rich and the poor get poor. No, the rich gets richer because of their mindset.
Right. Right. It's a mindset change. I really believe it's a mindset and how you view. You're right. No, this is really good. So what are some good cash flow habits to install to move into the right side of the quadrant?
I think there is one major principle that I use. It's called the 70-30 rule.
The 70-30?
70-30 rule. So let me explain, and it's also a kingdom principle. So
okay.
So for example, anybody on this call, whether you're on Facebook Live or on the Zoom, if somebody gives you $1,000 and they say to you, you have your rent to pay, which is $500, you have to put food in your house, your grocery will probably come up to about $300, and you have 2 other utility bills to pay. You're probably gonna pay your grocery bill, you're gonna pay your rent, and you're gonna pay a piece of each utility bill until that $1,000 is finished, correct?
Right.
And then you're happy that you've paid all your bills. And you're thinking you're in a good position because you've paid all your bills.
Right.
You're in a horrible position because it's a kingdom principle. Money gets multiplied, which is why when somebody shares a business opportunity with you, there's an initial investment. Money
Yeah.
always gets multiplied. Money is never added to you. Money is
Right.
multiplied. So if you don't have an initial amount, there's nothing to multiply.
Oh, wow. Say that again. Say that one more time.
Have an initial amount, there's nothing to multiply. So what you do with your $1,000 for a start is 10% is your tithes. Now
Right.
that doesn't necessarily have to go to a church. It can go to a charity. You choose how you want to tithe your 10%, but you must give back.
You have to give back.
Because you did not breathe breath into yourself. You need to give back. So your first 10% is your tithing, you're giving back. Your next 10% is your savings. And then you're going to say to me, but how am I supposed to save if I've got bills? Watch and you see how it will work. So you save 10%, you invest 10%, and you use 70% to pay your bills.
Okay, awesome. So you know what? I'm going
to you with a business opportunity, and you can say, oh, I have a little bit of savings here. Oh, I made an investment, and a wise investment, and I'm getting some interest. So I have money to do these things. A lot of times, a business opportunity is presented, and you cannot participate because you're broke.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and that's a mindset thing, because I feel that we're in an era right now where everybody wants to get, and they forget that they have to give. And I found that this principle of the tithing that I used is a principle that has always rewarded me somehow. And it's I don't give to get. I give when I see, and I give when I see a need. I give here, and I don't announce it. It's not a grand sort of thing. And I always have money coming in from somewhere unbeknownst to me. So I think if this 70-30 rule, if we can grab those principles, and I also have automatic savings that just come out. I don't even touch my money until everything is, saved. So I think I practiced the 70-30 rule, but I didn't have a name for it. So that is some good information. So those are some of the good habits to have. The savings, 10% savings, 10% investment, and 10%
tithes.
Yeah, and I like what you said, that tithe doesn't have to be necessarily in a church. It can be to a charity, but just give something, help somebody else. It's always be willing to help somebody else, and don't look what you can only get. So I like that message there. I'm going to see if we have any questions. I'm going to pause right there and see if I'm going to open it up and ask that if you just unmute your mic if you have a question.
I have a quick question, Wendy. This is amazing. Thank you so much, first of all. I was brought up in a traditional household where my parents were not educated past high school, so they had really high expectations of my sister and I. Mm-hmm. So we were very poor, which I had an awesome childhood. Don't get me wrong, but that's the mindset Sheryl was saying most of us kind of grew up in. So what would your message be to young people? When you talk about education, if they're not educating themselves wisely, I would say, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, that those resources could go to the right side of your quadrant. If they're really not wanting, if they're not in a place where they're wanting to go to college or get higher education, what would your advice be for them starting out very young?
One of the things, I have to go back to kingdom principles again. Your gifts make room for you. So I would say, I would use myself as a perfect example. So when I was in school, I was bright. I was coming first in tests, and all my school reports said, Wendy's a brilliant student, but too talkative. If Wendy will talk less. So my mouth got me in trouble in school. But then, now I speak for a living. Now I've gone to university, I have my master's, I've studied and done all of that. but now I speak for a living. So I would always say a good education is amazing because you need to be able to interact with people from all different walks of life. So your basic education is key. But if I have somebody who's young who does not want to go to university, my question will be to them, what do you want to do? And they will end up studying. But you see what Sheryl just said? That she's doing the 70-30 rule, but she didn't have a name for it? They'll be going to college and don't even know. They'll be educating themselves and not even realize. Because if you say to me, okay, I would like to be a hairdresser, for example, and people might say that's a very mediocre job. No, it's not. Because the queen needs to get her hair done. Everybody needs to get their hair done at some point. But to be the best hairdresser that you can be, you have to know what your competition is saying and do it. So you need to now research. So you start researching. Then you start seeing different beauty salons. And you start saying, but I want one like this. So I would like to have this. Yeah, but all those things cost money. Money answereth all things. And in order to earn the money, you need to have the job. So you start at the top of the quadrant where you're now employed to earn money so that you can meet your investment. It's like this quadrant is like a vicious cycle. So I would find a way to use reverse psychology to show them that they can't make it without a good education. I'm not saying you need a degree, a PhD, and a master's, but you need to be able to add and multiply because they're going to rub you blind.
Right.
Yeah. So you need to know the basics. And we're in 2020, so these millennials have an advantage. They have an advantage because they have technology at their fingertips. When I was in school, I had to sit late hours and go through about 25 encyclopedias when I have homework to do. Now they have the internet. So, you know, they're in a better position than we are in. So they shouldn't be complaining. They just need to just make money legally.
Right. And you know, that's a great question, Amy. I'm going to speak on my experience too, because I have a daughter. And, you know, I was raised in the Caribbean mentality. You have to go to school. You have to do this. You have to do this. Now my parents see that, you know, my dad sees more so that I'm more like him, a business owner, whatever, an entrepreneur. But my daughter, she has a gift for cosmetics. She's got a lot of gifts. And she didn't want to go to college because and I thought she was trying to find the easy way out. Because I figured she wants to do cosmetology and, you know, the mindset was there, you have to get an education. So I made her go to college. So she got her degree in college, but she didn't stay there. After her gift made a way for her and now she does cosmetology, she reverted right back. And I felt bad because I'm thinking I pushed her to a stream because of my mindset and limited her at the time where she maybe could have used it as a springboard to do something, but I limited her based on my limitations. Yes. And stopped her from pursuing her goals earlier. But now she has pursued it earnestly. She has her makeup line. She does it. She has a good concept. She's actually on this call here too. So I think this is so key. I always post Monday mindset, and this is totally awesome. I'm going to probably cut it in clips and share it on Monday Mindset because I think there's too many nuggets here to just watch it in totality.
I'm going to say you did not do the wrong thing. I'm very grateful that you made me go to school because I always have something to fall back on, right? So when I first moved to America, the first job I went into was the legal system, legal field, because that's what I went to school for. And I used that money and put aside, because I don't know if you remember, Grandma would always do this partner thing where you would, every other week you would give $100 and then you get the first pot or third pot or whatever, and then at the end you would have like $2,300. You didn't know you were saving.
Right.
What's that?
We call that a susu in Trinidad.
Okay, well, same concept, right? So in that 12 weeks or whatever, you had $2,300. You don't even realize you're spending the $100 every other week. And then when you get this lump sum, you're like, oh, wow, okay, now I can do what I wanted to do. Let me put down some money to do what I need to do. So, I wouldn't be able to put down $100 if I didn't educate myself. It doesn't have to, formal education is for everybody. It's not for everybody. But you need to educate yourself in whatever field that you're trying to prosper in, period. That's my nugget.
Totally.
That's my take off of what you said, Wendy.
No, I agree totally. But I think, it worked out for you guys, but in some instances, some parents want their children to live the dream that they did not fulfill.
Right.
So you wanted to be a doctor, you didn't get to be a doctor, you flood your child with all these medical stuff and they can't even stand blood.
That's me.
You understand what I'm saying? So then that child becomes resentful.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're not really resenting being the doctor, you have them resenting education.
Right, right.
So I think there's a fine line. I mean, in your example, it worked out perfectly because of the mindset of yourself and the maturity and mindset of your daughter.
That's so true.
In other instances, people are kicking and screaming going to university because, well, my father said I have to go because he's competing with the neighbor.
Right, exactly. It's a neighbor. It's not individual.
So you have to go. And I'm like, but you know, you that's not even what you want to do. So true. Sometimes they cramp and that particular child could be even making more money than the parent if they will just let the child be.
If they just let them be, just be your authentic self and gravitate to your gift. And if you don't know what that is, ask somebody what they think you're good at. Ask your best friend, ask your core people what you think your best thing, and they'll tell you. So,
Sheryl, you can always find your gifting in your childhood.
You can always find your gifting in your childhood.
Go right back to when you were a child and what you love to do the most.
Okay. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Yep.
No, Wendy, you've said so much here. I did. There's so much. I'm going to give anyone else an opportunity to speak if they want to ask a question. I've asked her a lot of information. Is there anybody else that wants to ask? Even on the Facebook chat, please type in your comment or message. Crystal loves this information, and Michelle says, "Find you purpose and prosper." This is so awesome. So I'm going to try and summarize what you said.
Sure.
The cash quadrant is made up of 4 areas: the employee, the self-employed, the business owner, and the investor.
Correct.
And it's better to have the freedom and the security on the right-hand side than just have the security. And I think a lot of people are experiencing that today because of COVID. So they were employed, and the employer let them go. So their security is gone because the mindset was that this was their life, that this person was going to provide. So they need to shift to the business owner mindset. Make money while you're sleeping on the right hand side, then to just only make money when you're present on the left side. And cash flow is good for business. You understand your cash flow if you don't have any money in your bank, you have no cash flow, and cash flow is different than
no cash to flow.
No cash to flow. There you go. And your net income is different than the cash flow.
Yes, that's after the system has taxed you.
Yeah, this is awesome. So I'm going to ask you for the last send off question, or I'm going to just ask one more question and say, what is the key advice or the key takeaway that you would want this audience and all business owners, entrepreneurs to take away from your message, the cash flow quadrant? Sum it up for us. Tell us whatever you need to tell us.
So I think everyone who's on this call, you're in a box, whichever one it is, whether it's the left box or the right side. Wherever you are, if it is not on the right side, continue moving. Continue moving. Don't give up. We have put up these restrictions, these age barriers and these geographical location barriers, and then we have these race barriers. We have all sorts of barriers. And one of the things I always say is you can't deposit excuses. So
you can't what?
You can't deposit excuses.
You can't deposit excuses. I love that.
You can become anyone you choose to become. Just be encouraged. Don't be despondent because you're on the left side. It's part of your journey. You may not be where you want to get to, but you're going through the journey. You may not reach that final destination, but you're en route. You're en route. You just keep moving. Don't stop. I just want to give everyone that empowerment and that motivation. This is for success-minded people. The cash flow quadrant is not going to work if you're not success-minded. And the fact that you took time off your schedule to be on this call, you've already qualified.
Right.
So you're success-minded. You want more. You're thirsty for something. You're hungry for something. You have a vision that you're seeing, but nobody's seeing it with you. That's okay. Your vision is for you.
That's right.
Everyone else doesn't have to see your vision. You have your dreams, you have your goals, you just work at it. And I would say, wake up. This is something Mr. Anderson Chester, who is the Caribbean leader of the network marketing business that I'm in, he always says this: wake up, set your day right, and bring value.
That's awesome.
So
I love that.
So the first thing you have to do is to wake up. So you can't sleep till lunchtime and have goals, and dreams fulfilled. And no, you have to wake up at a reasonable hour where you can speak to your God, do your affirmations. The night before, you're supposed to plan your diary, not wake up in the morning, I wonder what I'm doing today. No, plan that from the night before. Be organized is advice that I will give. Be organized. So from the night before, every evening, I know what my schedule looks like, how many calls I have to make, how many Zoom, if it's an external appointment, presentation, whatever. My diary is full. I have my day well planned, well organized. I even have household chores organized.
That's awesome.
Saturday morning we do the laundry, or maybe we'll do a bit during the week. Everything is organized. I'm extremely organized. And you don't want to not be organized, because once you're disorganized in your personal life, it will show in your finances.
Yes.
It will show. You will go to the supermarket with $100 to get some items that you need, and you come out the supermarket, the $100 is finished, and you didn't even get what you went for.
Right.
Because you're buying stuff that you don't really need. And to thine own self be true. Be your authentic self. Don't be trying to keep up with the Joneses, because you don't know what the Joneses did to get where they're at. Or
you don't even know if they're living in a cash flow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
People you see driving around in the Mercedes and the BMs, they're still owing.
Right.
You have your little car that you paid off for in full, you're better off than them.
Right.
If you own a 1-bedroom apartment, you are better off than someone who's renting a 7-bedroom, because that's dead money.
Right.
Stay focused is what I would say to people. Be committed, stay focused, be consistent. So once you start with your structure, be consistent, and the sky is the limit. Everything you want to achieve, you can achieve. And I know we had the conversation, and I was supposed to say this earlier. So anybody who's on this call, you will get a free consultation.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely free. What I will do is I will post the link for my online calendar. So you schedule a time, and it's not a pre-recorded nothing. I'm going to be talking to you one-on-one. So we're going to sift through some things, and I will guide you as to how you can set yourself up to invest your way into your future.
That is awesome, Wendy. How do people get a hold of you? Please send me the link, and I'll send it to the people on this call. But how do we get a hold of you? I feel like I need to have you back, because I think like on another topic, because you wear so many hats. But how do we get a hold of you?
That's it, all on the screen. Feel free to take a snapshot of the screen. That's my number, 1-868-756-3549. On WhatsApp, Telegram, normal calls. My Facebook page is Wendy H Lewis, Motivational Speaker. My Instagram is Victory in the Valley, which is the name of my first book that I am about to publish. And my Twitter is my full name. So
that is awesome.
Feel free to take a screenshot. That's how you can find me.
Thank you. You talked about this book, Victory in the Valley. When does that come out?
Actually, it's due to come out before the end of 2020. The reason I'm finished with the book.
Yes.
But I need my closing to be a powerful victory, because I spoke about a lot of my valley experiences and how I became victorious and how many things I've survived. But there's one thing in particular that I know is just, you know, when you're on the brink of a breakthrough. So I want to close the book with that. So I'm just, everybody's on hold. Everybody's like, could we please publish a book? Nope.
That is awesome. The closing is so important. But I'm going to stay in touch with you. We have a lot of things in common. Things I didn't want to speak on because this is your meeting. This is about all the nuggets that we can get from you. But I encourage everybody that's on this call to set up a time with Wendy, and I will send you the link. And Wendy, I want to just say thank you for taking the time out of your day, joining us from sunny Trinidad, here in New York. That's the beauty of technology. We're just globalizing all this information. So
having me.
Very good information.
You're doing an amazing job with the Biz Circle.
Thank you.
No, I mean, sometimes I look at a lot of the stuff that's happening on the Biz Circle, and I may not comment, doesn't mean I have not seen. I look at it and I'm amazed and I am marveled. You have no idea how many lives you're touching, how many people's lives you're changing. Even sometimes when you just have the day where, like Monday is a motivational day, you have no idea what other women are carrying.
Right.
And I say that from a place of understanding how my NGO functions as well. Because, and I'll just say this before we wrap up. If we're all in the same room with our handbags and we put all the handbags on the table, Amy will not be able to tell which handbag is mine unless she saw when I walked in.
Right.
Because all the handbags are going to look cute, and one might be a designer, one might be, Versace, one might be Dolce & Gabbana, and everybody's seeing the outside of the handbags, but nobody knows what's on the inside.
Right.
Sometimes people come to your page coming out of a situation, struggling to find an answer, and then one of the motivational quotes from myself, yourself, Amy, Sheryl, anybody, just lifts their spirit.
That's awesome. That's encouraging. Thank you.
It is. And I say that from a place of having to deal with women a lot as well. Sometimes, and even one of the things I've learned, and this is just dropped in my spirit to share with everyone. If you're doing whatever you're doing and you get a phone call from someone that you couldn't take at the appointed time, call them back. You don't know if that person called you because they were feeling suicidal. You don't know if that person called you because they were like so depressed, because COVID-19 is doing so much with people emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, all the leads. People are frustrated. Sometimes people need somebody to just talk to. You may not even be able to help them, but just the fact that you allow them to pour into you and listen, and you're listening, they just want to get it out. They just want to exhale. They have so much bottled up inside. Sometimes people say, I just need somebody to talk to. You just talk.
Right. No, that's good advice. Just be there. Just be there. Take some time. We spend so much time. We spend so much time trying to do what we still have to invest. Take that 10% tithe and take the time and reach out to somebody else. That's a great way to cap the meeting, Wendy. And I so appreciate you. Your encouragement is powerful. You make me believe that I can just do all things. And I love talking to people who inspire me. And I can learn a lot from you. And I just thank you so much for taking the time to share your knowledge. Okay. Thank you. Bye, you guys. Thank you, audience, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your comments down, and I will send out the link to Wendy's free consultation for the people who joined the call. Thanks, Wendy.
You're most welcome.